blue collar who looked to be about 7 or 8. He was a cautious little nipper too. Stared around before entering the tunnel and gave me a suspicious look for good measure. He must have been satisfied with what he saw, because he started into the tunnel after he'd given me the once-over, and I followed him with my hands in my pockets, wondering what he was up to. It wasn't a long tunnel, just long enough to span a double carriageway with a bit of overhang at the ends. The other end was a circle of light that darkened suddenly with the entrance of another school kid walking towards us. This kid was a lot bigger than the first, and I was pretty sure the little one recognised him because the skinny shoulders in front of me stiffened and the steady, grim footsteps faltered for a second. It wasn't until the bigger kid was well and truly into the tunnel that it occurred to me to wonder how he'd taken up so much light when the tunnel was a good 3 meters in diameter, or for that matter, why it seemed as though he'd risen from the ground instead of turning into the tunnel from the footpath. Once I wondered that, I could see that the shadow didn't look quite right. If you looked at it from the perspective that trolls didn't exist and that it had to be a very large schoolboy, you could still fool yourself that the lumps on the sides of its head were just very prominent cauliflower ears. You could tell yourself that the squarish lump clutched in its right hand was just a lunchbox and not a lump of wood for a club. You might even be able to persuade yourself that the incredible stench preceding the supposed schoolboy was the result of very bad hygiene. But as soon as I realised how much of the tunnel it was taking up, my perspective, which did include trolls by the way, switched to allow me to see the real outline of the thing. Big, ugly, and radiating threat. Great. It was a troll, segueing from the world between our world and the world behind. I stepped up my speed a bit, and the kid in front of me stumbled to a stop. Whatever his perspective was, there was no doubt that he was terrified. "Hand it over, runt," said the troll. Funnily enough, its voice still sounded like a high schooler's. The little kid tried. He said, "Can't eat lunch if I give it to you." "Don't care. Hand it over." "Mum didn't give it to me this morning," said the kid. It was a stupid lie, but he was young and scared. I broke into a jog, worried about the way the distance had telescoped. Between shouldn't be spreading things out this far. The troll must be doing that to make sure its prey couldn't get away if it tried to run. Judging by the fact that it was shaking down a kid for his lunch money, I was pretty sure I knew what kind of a troll it was. I'd been studying, if only for a bit of rest between bouts of training with Zero and Jin Young and cooking meals. This troll was a bridge troll. Unlike 90% of trolls who were inclined to be people-pleasers, bridge trolls were vicious, territorial, and inclined to take toll in body parts if they couldn't take it in coin. Heck. Now what was I supposed to do? The troll had the kid by the leg now, and the poor little thing wasn't even screaming, just choking on terrified sobs with his arms wrapped around his head as he was shaken down for coins. I hadn't come out to fight a bridge troll today. Didn't even know if I could fight one, despite all my extra training lately. This thing was flamin' big. Still, what else could I do when there was a kid choking on his own snot and about to lose his head? I skidded to a halt in front of the troll, just as a couple of $2 coins tinkled to the concrete and panted, "Put the kid down!" The troll froze, a bit like a dog with something in its mouth it knows shouldn't be there. "You can't see me," it said, in a voice as cold and grating as rocks in a crusher. "I'm not talking to myself, mate," I pointed out, catching my breath. "Look, if you just want a toll, what about we have a talk and sort out some kind of—" It tossed the kid aside, crushing leaf litter and aluminium cans beneath its feet as it started toward me. "You can't see me," it said again, and this time it was a threat, not a statement of disbelief. I had no weapon.